Hi, I'm Isa Litton. Welcome to the first Pantene Shine Strong Roundtable series. This discussion will tackle issues that prevent women from being their best. And today, we will talk about bullying and how labels can act as bullies. Bullying exists beyond the confines of playgrounds and high school cafeterias. As we grow older, other forms of bullying can take place in the office, at home, or even online. Actually, especially online. Equally alarming is how women are bullied, including women who are accomplished. How do we change this? How do we survive it? And best of all, how do we fight it? Today, we are joined by three women, all accomplished in various fields, who all experienced and overcame the damaging effects of bullying. They'll be sharing with us how they prevailed, how they broke free of the labels that tried to limit their accomplishments. First up, we have Miss Ginger Diaz. She's a yoga instructor, entrepreneur, as she is the owner and director of Bikram Yoga Alabang. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, Isa. Thank you for having me.
We also have Jan Chavez-Arceo. She is a CEO and corporate strategist. Hello, Jan.
Hi, Isa. Good evening.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And our third lady is Camille Ko, a fashion blogger and designer.
Hello.
Hi, Camille. Lovely
Hi.
to have you too.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, ladies, to get things rolling tonight, first off, would you consider yourself successful? I love the giggle. Because I don't want to put a label on you.
Yes. If I may speak first, that word is really a misnomer. It's
Success.
misleading also. I mean, who will determine whether one is successful versus unsuccessful? So my answer to that question, I really don't know. It's probably the people around me or the people who know me who can actually say so.
I like that. That actually says that you're a team player.
Thank you. I'd like to think so.
Ginger or Camille, who would like to take the question too?
Oh,
Would you
well-
consider yourself successful?
If the definition of being successful now is having a dream a few years ago, having a goal, and having achieved it, I would say yes, in my own right.
Love
Yes.
it. You owned it. And Camille?
I'd like to think I'm also successful in my own way. I guess it's because I'm able to do what I love to do, and I'm able to achieve the things that I thought I'd never be able to achieve. So, in that sense, also, I think I'm successful.
Well, then that's definitely hats off to owning where we are in our lives right now. And of course, the path to success is never an easy one, right? Challenges first. I know our topic tonight is bullying, but challenges along the way first. What were the ones you encountered which stood out? Ginger?
Well, a lot. I think every step of the way there was a big challenge. Are we talking about bullying already, or
It can be in
it
there.
can be in there? Well, definitely the reception to being new in the industry, whatever industry it is. I mean, before being a yoga instructor, I was a preschool teacher. I was a newbie there, and of course, there are a lot of people who have been there for a long time. So I experienced that in the preschool setting. I also experienced that when I started to be in the yoga industry.
So every time, any newcomer will shake things up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think definitely. And that's why you're an easy target
Yes.
to be bullied, right?
Yes.
CEO world, corporate world, here we go, Jan. I'm sure, first of all, you would think men are always the boss. They'd like
well,
to
I never
think.
thought that. but I allowed some men to think that, But, in the corporate world, that's it. Women for the longest time were not allowed to be as successful, let's say, for example, or to be as powerful or as accomplished as their men counterparts. And so in the corporate world, women who are fierce, who try to push harder and further, they are actually
They're given
cheated.
labels.
Yes, they've been given labels, or they're ignored, or they're really given a hard time.
You know what, in the corporate world, I don't know if it applies in the rest of the industries. For me, one of the highest forms of bullying, again, corporate-wise, is your salary.
Yes, I think so.
A woman doesn't quite get what a man gets. And even though you're like, one CEO to another, am I stating a fact here?
Right.
or-
Isa, that's very true. in the global context, in the global corporate context, that is true. But there's so much movement now in terms of actually changing that and breaking that stereotype. So there's so much movement and push for women's salary, for example, especially to be at par with
their men counterparts.
Yes, the men counterparts. I mean, because after all, the women does not mean that they are less than their male counterparts. In fact, I think we are much better.
That's a matter of opinion, but of course,
True,
you're
I
always
agree.
pushing for equality. Equality. Let's not bully the men, right?
You're right.
If not, we'll be accused of being bullies ourselves.
I
So,
agree. All
these
right.
are again part and parcel of challenges. Camille, being in the fashion industry, challenges along the way to get to where you are.
I think just like all other newcomers, you always there's always a part where you just don't know where to start, and you don't know if you belong or if you can actually try to join this and that. Especially in the fashion industry, they either love you or hate you. So you tend to like walk on eggshells, and you just don't know where to place yourself at first. So I think that's the primary challenge, and then just a little challenges along the way. But I think overall, that's the biggest challenge for a newcomer to overcome in this industry.
Okay, let's start now from the beginning, from when we were born, when we were kids, because after all, that's where you first encounter the word bully. I'm pouncing on the fact that you said the word wanting to belong. I think that at first is really, as a child, any child who goes to preschool, through grade school, and that's the first step to being a target of bullying, because you just simply want to belong. Am I right? Would you like to share stories of when you were bullied in your childhood?
A lot of my experiences being bullied as a child actually happened within the family.
Oh!
Yeah, and I'm not talking about my immediate family. I'm talking about, my relatives. I would say that it's bad because up to now I remember. I remember all of these
it
things.
made an
It stuck
impact
to
on
me. Yeah,
you.
definitely. And it's so funny because this started with my cousins. My older cousins, they would pick on you. I think this is like normal, which
How
is not
would they
good.
pick on you?
They would say like, I have like big legs, or
It's always
something about
something
your
physical at
body.
first,
Yeah,
no?
you're chubby,
You're too thin, or you're
fat.
You're dark,
Yes.
or you're light.
Yes.
Diba? You're either, what's it called, espasol?
Yes.
If you're too light.
Exactly.
And then,
Yeah.
or if not, you're the other one.
Yeah.
You're, what's it, beluga?
Shopa.
Or,
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
terms. They're labels.
They
And
do,
at the especially from other children too.
Yes.
Because you can't censor kids.
Yes, it's
They'll
pretty
know.
harsh. It's really harsh. It's pretty harsh when your playmates or when your cousins or brothers, sisters do that to you. But what happened to me was also, now I'm finding out it's pretty common. But even my titos and titas
Would pick on you.
yeah, would pick on me. So
I'm sorry to hear
yeah, that was happening. And I remember times when I would be so scared to go we lived in a compound. I would be scared to cross from one house to another because my uncles were, having their inuman like in the middle.
Nako, lalo pang
Yes.
they'd
and-
have more reason to pick
Exactly.
on you.
And to them, it's just fun. Like I get that now. But the effect that it has on a child, it's pretty,
bad.
yeah.
It's bad.
Yes.
Well, one thing though, like I like how you said that now, you get it now. I think people who were bullied when they were children develop a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Especially since you did say the context is it was out of fun.
Yes.
And because at least they're family.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
But in other cases, this is where I want to go to Jan, and this is close to your heart right now. Your son is a
Yes.
victim of bullying.
Yes,
Now. In fact, you had to pull him out.
No, yeah. Well, when he was younger, when he was in grade school, he would come home and he had tattered shirts. I was very busy.
This is physical na.
Yeah, and he'd have ball pen marks on his arms. At first, I did not notice anything. I was very, very busy at the time. And then I would ask the yaya and I'd ask her
What happened?
what's wrong. And apparently my son would tell her not to tell me because he was scared what I will do, or if I'd react differently, he'd get in more trouble. And so I talked to the teachers, I talked to the school administrators, and then at some point it was a little bit difficult for him already to to excel in the school.
Because
So I had
it
to
eats
pull
away at you.
Exactly, I had to pull him out. And my personal experience of bullying is I'm an only daughter. Okay, so I grew up with two brothers, and I'd hang out with all the boys, their friends, their male friends, and we'd do BMX biking all over the village. I'd tag along. I'd insist on being one of the boys, but I'd be riding the pinaka ugly na BMX bike. Okay,
And they'd bully you for that as well.
they'd call me names. I feel really, really bad, to the point I had to tell my parents about it. My dad had to call one of our friends and told him to stop calling me names already.
Name calling really is a part of childhood, no? And because again, you can't censor children. The way they just come up with these words.
But Isa, now that you've mentioned, we can't censor children. I think what is important is for parents to try to teach the children how
your words
to be
have
kind.
an effect.
Yes.
Have an impact. Definitely.
Exactly.
I had this. Speaking of children, I actually have two girls, 5 and 9, and the way I went about it is words are not. There's no such thing as good or bad words for me. It's how you use them. It's how you use them that actually you either make people feel encouraged or hurt them. And this is what's bad, because sometimes people are out to hurt. And I think this one is physical. No, actually in Ginger's part, it was to make fun for fun's sake.
Fun of me.
Right? But again, it still has a bad impact. This is physical bullying at its worst. If you, for your son, and for you, the name calling to just make you feel bad.
Or ostracizing me.
To ostracize you, diba?
From the group.
And with Camille, you had an experience with a teacher.
Yes.
Right?
I love my school, but during grade school and high school, I experienced I met two teachers. The first one was, she got mad over a petty thing, and she said in front of the entire classroom, and I was the class president then, so she said that, in Tagalog, she said, ano ba naman yan, blah, blah, blah. And she said, wala kang common sense, bobo mo. Wow. Because I just wrote I wrote a number differently. I just wrote it in a different stroke, and she already got mad because sabi niya, it's not a natural thing to do. So after that, I remember I was crying so hard, and my advisor was talking to me, and I was saying, she said, walang common sense, I'm bobo, and stuff like that. And all this time, I've always been a straight A student, even back then. So
did your grades suffer because of that?
No, but of course, I considered a bit that maybe I'm just book smart and I'm not street smart, because that's what common sense means, diba? So at that time, so I was like, oh no, maybe I'm just book smart. And then when I was in high school, there was this our batch. There was a teacher who. She really hated our batch for some reason, and I was really active.
All these teachers,
and I was really active in our batch. So, on the last day of our school year, I was supposed to get I think I had to make her sign something for my report card, and she told me that, you know what? If I had a choice, I wouldn't put you in the top 10.
Wow.
So it was like,
it's really an opinion, fine. But it really just, it's a knife through your heart, right? Again, the use of words and all these labels, bobo, I don't want to say it anymore. You probably heard it also growing up, right? But yes, that's why we are, I don't want to say scarred, but they did leave an impact. That's why we remember them.
True.
And we bring it up till now. Here's the sad truth. Yes, would you like to?
Isa, I guess the four of us are lucky, and many more are lucky because they're stronger. They got over it, even those name calling. But there are those who are not as strong as we are, or as resilient to all this bullying.
That's where I want to take it, because childhood bullying, I think everyone, really. Quote me and please correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to believe even the bullies are bullied. We're bullied.
That's why they bully.
That's why they bully. They probably got it from their parents, definitely in the family, and that's why they bring it out to on other people, right? So everyone, I'm sure, was bullied in their childhood. But here's the sad fact: even now as adults, we're still getting bullied, right? And this is where I'm going to go into the respective industries. That's why I have a wonderful panel of guest ladies here. Ginger here is Bikram instructor.
That's right.
When you think of yoga, you think of calm thoughts, right? Trying to find your center.
Yes.
But in the world of yoga, as an industry and as a business, there's bullying.
Yeah, there is.
Would you like to expound, Ginger?
I've always said once I got into this industry, actually even just as a student and seeing what was happening around me, this was way back in 2005. I was thinking in my head, it's just like any other industry. It's just like any other industry. There's no such thing as, it should be more peaceful, it should be like this, it should be like that. We all have our, preconceived notions, but, in reality, it's a business. It's just like any other business. When there's money involved, when there's competition involved.
Everyone's wanting to get a piece of that pie.
Exactly. What happened was, in 2007, this was when I graduated from my teacher training. At the time, I was in the Bikram industry, at least. I was the first one to be certified as a Filipino.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I started out here in this country, and then I went to Hawaii, and then came back to teach here. At the time, people who owned the studios were, they didn't grow into their practice here because they had to do it abroad. And then they introduced it here.
That's why everyone wants to own the
Yes.
I brought it.
Yes,
I brought it.
exactly. Yeah, that was a big thing back then.
And you coming in.
Yeah, and me coming in at the time, just as a teacher, I didn't even, of course, I had plans of having my own studio in the future, but back then, I was focused on teaching. There was just this mentality that, you're new.
You're not welcome here.
Yeah, you're new, your class sucks, no one wants to take your class, that kind of thing, which is understandable because you're new. I mean, you're learning. When you graduate, it's not like you already know how to teach. It's something that you grow into. It's something that, you grow with from experience.
And no one encouraged you? From your
there
peers?
were very few people who were encouraging. And again, like I said earlier, I get it now, why it was that way. I mean, I learned so many things from back then, but at the time, I got it from all corners. Students didn't want to take my class.
As well.
When they knew that I was teaching, they would either go to the next class na lang, go home, or make reklamo to the receptionist or to the owner.
Is it just me or your
Like
heart's
that.
twisting when you really hear these stories?
Yeah.
That's just it. It's a reality.
Exactly,
It's
right?
reality.
And again, in a field
yeah.
where it's thought
supposed
to
to
be calm
And
zen, right?
True.
Sorry.
It was like that. And then, I would always get the worst schedule. Like, let's say I would teach the last class, and I lived in Pasay at the time. I was working in the north. I would teach the last class, which would end at 9:30. I would get home around 11:30 or 11 p.m. And I would always be the one teaching the first class in the morning, which was 6:30 a.m.
I think that comes with newbies.
Yeah,
right? Definitely when you're a newbie, you do get the worst time slots.
That one I
definitely.
took in stride because that was fine. But there were things that I thought were really not fair. Like, let's say me being with other instructors and a student asking me about a certain injury or a certain posture, and just like butting into the conversation and just making me look like I don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Things like that. That happened a lot.
There you go. There's bullying in. It doesn't quite go to me easily.
I know, right?
Bullying yoga. Like, it just you never think in one sentence that
True.
that would come together.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's any other industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
but I
Definitely.
think Ginger mentioned it. I mean, so long every time there's competition or
Yeah.
there's a need to excel, in a certain field, bullying happens. I
Yeah.
mean, that's very prevalent, especially in the corporate world or in a work setting, whether in the private sector or in the public sector or in government work. I mean, in fact, in the corporate setting, the women or even men for that matter who come in new and just really want to try to establish themselves or their careers, di ba? People tend to look at them as so biba or bibo. That's what they call it, di ba? So pa-impress like that. But
And that's why those people are targets of bullying.
Precisely.
Because you stand out.
Isa, sometimes to these people who are supposedly bibos or bibas or what people, the bullies call pa-impress, they really just want to do a good job.
Yeah.
They just want to do an excellent job. And they're perceived as, I don't know, as different.
Or
and
making things difficult for everybody else.
because they're
Am I
setting the
right?
standards higher. They're
Exactly.
setting the bar higher for
Yep.
everybody else. And when that happens, when the bar is set higher, then everybody just need to step up
Yeah.
to the plate. And
everyone
oftentimes,
wants to do that.
in general, they just don't want to.
Yeah.
Isn't that so sad?
It
It's
is.
the
It is.
accomplished
It is.
people who
It
are getting
is.
bullied.
Yeah.
Right? But because of
That's
that,
it, yeah.
yes, I think it's we're shaking things up, getting people out of their comfort zones.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, again, it's a sad reality, and you're actually citing specific examples, like when you said private. People who
Oh.
practice in private, who get into the public sector, they're bullied as well because the public, those who would work in government, if I'm not mistaken, would say you're too pampered.
Yeah, too pampered, or you're used to a certain way. They'd say, that is not what it is here in this particular context, so don't try
It's
to
the culture.
bring
Yeah, it
in
is.
that way of working, etc. But I think it's really just these people threatened, perhaps, or a little bit insecure. You just need to learn to work around the insecurities probably of these
Yeah.
people.
How can you address it in the corporate world though? Because of course, when it comes to teaching or lifestyle, it's also just a matter of getting someone aside,
Yeah.
right? But in the corporate world, you're thinking of bosses, or you're thinking of certain titles like executive vice president. You're dealing with those.
Right.
So how can you put them in their place? Via a memo? Because the thing is, you can also be bullied with memos.
Oh,
or
yeah.
with workloads or
That's so true. I always think that at the end of the day, your work speaks for yourself. All right, you do a good job, and people will notice it. Okay, some people will resent it, but at the end of the day, the work should speak for itself. So, for example, for what you're asking, bosses who are bully, for example, they probably just perceived as bullies. Either they are bullying you because they're insecure or threatened by you, or they're bullying you, quote unquote, because they demand and they want to expect and exact excellence from you.
you're touching on something that I know I'm going to push for later. Okay, I'm
Okay.
going to get back to that, Jam.
All right, sure.
But here again, but the bullying in the corporate world, obviously, it's happening as well. Here in the fashion industry, Camille, let's admit it, bullying is prevalent, especially online
Yeah.
for you
Yes,
as a
especially
blogger.
online, yes.
Would you like to share?
I think I can share more about like cyberbullying
Yes.
because of course it's one of the most again a lot of people experience this because there are no consequences when you bully someone online because you can hide behind
Names,
and, like, anonymous you don't have a photo there, so
Yes.
we'd never be able to trace who you are.
They're so mean.
Yeah, and
They just really rip
they
you to
nitpick
shreds.
everything, like everything, even if it doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing or your work. They really nitpick everything. And the thing is that for me as a fashion blogger, going into this, it's not the first thing that you'd think of, that maybe I'm gonna be in the public eye and I'm gonna be susceptible to cyberbullying. It's something that we got into unintentionally. So at first, of course, it was so hard because
You get terms like social climber, materialistic, diba?
Yeah, everything from-
Maluho, is that right?
uh-huh.
You get all these terms thrown at you.
especially, and the way they throw it at you, it's as if they know you.
Yeah.
It's as if they have the right to judge you because of all the things that they see.
Yeah.
So it's everything from physical to your family, to your background, to your personality, to your character, everything.
You know what hurts? It's women bullying other women.
Yeah.
Am I right? You said the word nitpicking earlier.
Yes.
I think women are programmed
Yeah.
to do just that because women are all about the details. Right? So it's actually more hurtful for us. Why do we tear each other down?
Yeah.
Right? We're the ones attacking each other if you think about it. So why? Why do you think that happens? Besides the fact that yes, we are programmed to nitpick, programmed to pay attention to so much detail.
I actually got to talk to someone who was able to do like a study on cyberbullying.
Okay.
And he was actually able to interview the bullies behind all those hateful comments. And he said that these people, they do it because they feel better when the person they're bullying reacts to the hateful
They
comment.
want attention.
They want
That's
attention.
one. They want attention.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to react.
Yes.
And they feed on that.
Yes.
And typically, these people are people who have nothing better to do, who are really miserable in their lives.
Yeah,
and
That's right.
like, they just
There's a difference between those two statements, though. Those who have nothing to do,
Yeah.
my gosh, do something. Just get a job or something. Exercise. Right? For me, I really don't think it's just out of boredom. It's something deeper than
Yeah.
that. It's your second statement.
yeah. When you just want to feel better about yourself. than
Yeah,
bring
because
other people
something's
down.
missing.
Yeah.
Something's missing in them.
Like I said, it's the insecurity of these people.
Insecurity.
It's insecurity.
Their feeling of being threatened by whatever, by your presence or what you represent vis-a-vis who they are and what they think of themselves, or who they are, what they are in the context of where you are, both of you are. I think
But
that's it.
here's another thing. There should be intention. That's why in cyberbullying, there's such an intent because you took the time not just to look at
Yeah.
someone's account, but
To
to
make-
leave a comment.
Yeah.
First of all, you made a fake email and then
Yeah,
made a
there's so much
fake-
effort.
Yeah, there is.
An intention involved. So you're out to destroy.
Yeah.
You're out to
Yes.
pull someone down. You're out to make someone have a bad day,
Yeah.
right? Versus, I wouldn't want to say, again, see, I just want to be very clear which is bullying. They're stating an opinion.
Yeah.
And like, I really don't like what you're wearing.
Yeah.
That's not bullying. Versus,
Matter of fact.
what would be bullying to counter what I just said? Ang pangit mo.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Yeah.
There, the word pangit versus I don't like what you're wearing. Right? So, one's an attack, one's an opinion.
Yeah.
How about, it's just that. Again, or competition.
Yeah.
When is competition not bullying?
Right. You know, I think you made a very good point, Isa, that bullying is
Out to
destroy and
Yeah.
to damage. I mean, there is that intent, that malicious intent to actually destroy the person that is the target of the attacks. Out to destroy and out to damage.
And not just because you're having a bad day, right?
No.
That's
Yeah,
also
no.
another thing. Because the thing is, if you're just having a bad day and you say something callous like, "Don't look at me. I don't want to see your
Yeah.
face today."
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. If it's callous, you'd catch yourself.
Yeah.
And say, "I'm so sorry for what I said
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
It's a bad day." But out to destroy is like, yeah.
Isa, it's not having just a bad day. These people who bully are having a bad life.
True.
And they
not
want to
just a
feel
single day.
power over you.
I agree.
think
I agree.
That's what they really want.
To take away your power.
Yeah.
But this is why I have these three wonderful women with me, because you break it, you fight it, and you actually overcame it. So let's talk about that right now. Again, I like how Ginger already said, from your childhood
Yeah.
to here in Bikram Yoga, you just do your thing. I want to point out one instance you said or you shared. What if someone does butt into you in your conversation? Butt in like, "Hey, sir, how do we do the tree again?" You know,
Yeah.
something like that, and someone else answers for you.
Yeah.
Do you let them all the time?
At the time, okay, the first few times that it happened, because I was new and out of respect, I would, step aside and let that person take over, whoever that person is. But after some time, no, I would, I developed also the confidence
To speak up for
to
yourself.
speak up for myself and to know that, hey, I've also been doing this. I studied for this just like you.
How did you put them in their place?
I actually talked to them. I
Aside now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I think that's a great way of
Yeah.
handling that situation.
I did.
Because it's also very tempting that you're on the spot.
Yeah.
Someone's asking you, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
True.
I
Yeah.
think she was talking to me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm capable of answering this question myself.
Yeah.
That can be, also
Yeah.
bullying in
Yes.
one. Or, no. Is that bullying?
No, I just
No, it's standing up for yourself.
Yeah, standing
There's
up
a
for
difference.
myself. It's just that at the time, I
You had
didn't want to make a scene in front of. I was always brought up to, respect the people around me, and not just that. Also, I was taught that if there's something that you need to bring up to one person, you don't need to bring it up in front of everyone else.
Wonderfully put. You handled that very well.
Yeah, so I at the time when I was already fed up and I knew in my heart this is wrong. It doesn't feel like this person is helping me. It feels like, I'm being embarrassed in front of other people to make myself look like they're making me look like I don't know what I'm doing. I have no business being here. So I actually, I really thought about it long and hard. Should I do this? I had to gather up the courage to actually,
It's a process to
It
stand
is.
up to
It
bullying.
is.
Sometimes it's an instinct. It can be
Yes.
quick.
Yeah.
But it's also nice that's why Ginger handled it the way she did.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of thought
Yeah.
to stand up and just put people in their place.
And you think about the consequences also of your actions.
True.
Yeah.
What is this going to do to me?
All the
Because at
time.
the end of the day, I'm still going to be working here.
Okay, good
You know,
point. Good point.
like how is this going to affect my work environment? How is this going to affect my career? So I had to think of all of those things. But in the end, I felt like this is not right. This is not right.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Jan.
No, I just wanted to bring out the point, Isa, that bullying is not always a fierce attack. It's not always.
It can be underhanded.
Yes.
Those hurt equally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, these bullies can seem very docile, very sweet, or they pretend to be so. But the attack is very underhanded.
Yeah.
In the corporate world, like for
Yes.
example, you have a board meeting, and everyone has their paperwork, right? You know, you're supposed to know you're supposed to be on the same page, and then you find that you're missing a couple of pages. Sure, it can be a practical joke, but really, you're supposed to make a presentation to your boss or something.
Yeah.
That's like, and then you rely on someone or a team member supposedly, and it's not there.
Yes, or you're supposed to be in a meeting at a particular time and date, and your notice of meeting's not, sent to you, or you're not informed. All
So-
of this.
There can be underhanded ways of
Yeah.
bullying, definitely, but those are the worst
Yeah.
ones because it's psychological,
yes.
Yes.
emotional, right?
Yes.
But that's why we overcome it. And I love Ginger's example of, again, a well thought out process. But there's another one I wanna share with Ginger, since we were talking earlier. When you were a preschool teacher,
Yeah.
one of your co-faculty members got everybody else
Yeah.
to gang up on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you overcome that?
That one was harsh because I have to say,
Because this is ganging up.
and I was still, I just got out of college then. This was my first experience being bullied, like outside of since I was a child, I was okay growing up. But yeah, like in the work setting, that was pretty harsh because also, this person who did this was a friend of mine.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Isn't that more
I thought she
painful?
was like one of my best friends at the time. I was doing everything for her, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I noticed that she was cold towards me, and then I also noticed that everyone else was cold towards me. So basically, like I had no friends. It's like I wasn't around.
You didn't exist.
Yeah, that was what was happening, and I was thinking about it. Did I do anything? Did I say anything? And I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I kept thinking and thinking, what did I
These are
do?
the effects.
Yeah.
It's not nice,
I
people.
was very young at the time. I was in my early 20s, and I didn't know quite how to handle it. And what happened at the time was, I'm not, I don't think that I had the courage to go to the
confront them,
person. But what I did was I showed her that you can't bully me. So
Meaning you just went about your work.
yeah, I
I'm here to
really
teach, so I'm
yeah,
here to teach, yeah.
I made an effort to look good at work every day. I made an effort to really look nice, and and I thought, what were they pinning against me? That I'm arte, that I like wearing clothes, that I like to wear heels, stuff like that. So it's like for me, very petty things. They would use anything if they want to bring you down. So I did more of those things.
Nice! That's one way to address that as well. Whatever irritated them or what they're
Yeah.
nitpicking about
Yes.
you, shove it in their faces.
Oh, yes.
Like, oh really? Here's higher heels for you.
Yes. Or red lipstick.
Exactly. That's how I went about it.
But it's two different attacks.
Yeah.
One is, yes, you're talking to, you think you'll bring me down with
Yeah.
words like these. I'll just wear them and
Yeah.
tick you off.
Yes.
Let's see who will have a worse day.
Yeah.
But again, the other example is, well thought out process. Take
Yes.
someone aside, confront your bullies.
True.
I'll skip over to Jan. I want to go to Camille because it's different in cyberbullying. And like you said, in your case, if you actually give them the time of day,
They would never stop.
there you go. So how do you go about it?
You
How
just
to
learn-
fight?
I think anyone who gets cyberbullied at first would get the same. Like, you wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
You would let it bother you. Like, am I really like that? Is it really?
It makes you think twice about yourself, really,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It cultivates,
develop
cultivates
self-doubt.
self-doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But that's one of the things I always tell my readers, because I have a lot of readers who are still in school and they always ask advice about bullying. And I'd always tell them that you have to learn to accept your insecurities and your flaws so that your
It's part
bullies
of you.
wouldn't be able to use that against you.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's a
that's
nice
very
piece
good.
of advice.
So that you'd have the strength to ignore them and to know that you're better than them and that you could just like let it go and not stoop down to their level.
yes.
Can I share something, and a little bit of my personality will come here. You reminded me of what's that movie of Eminem?
8 Mile?
8 Mile. Remember in the last scene when he was up to rap freestyle?
Yeah.
And he just went on about how his mom lived in a trailer park, how he didn't have a job. Blah, blah, blah. Exactly. Know your insecurities and don't let anyone use them
Yes.
against you.
Because the best way for you to prove your bullies wrong is to show them that you're successful.
Yeah.
And that
Another
you're doing
part.
what you're doing and that you're happy with what you're doing.
Or that you've
true.
accepted
Yes.
who and what you are. Yes, exactly. This is me. So what
Yeah.
else can you say about me? Because
Yeah.
I know it.
I mean, this is me and I'm still able to do this and that. And
So my little hip hop nature came out there for a little bit. That's why when you said that, it just triggered that image of Eminem in my head. I want to go to Jan now. Thank you very much for that, Camille. Jan, it's different again. Being when I say corporate, see every time even when I say it, I have to sit upright. There's a certain decorum,
Yes.
protocol. But this is where the underhandedness comes in. So how do you address bullies in that kind of workplace?
You know, I always say that your work speaks for itself. Let
It's really the work.
Yeah, it's your work ethics, your work style. It's how you get the work done
But don't
well.
you get tired?
It is very tiring, Isa. It is very tiring. But at the end of the day, your work speaks for yourself. These people, the people who try to attack you, who try to put you down, they cannot put you down when success speaks for itself. You know, I know of a lot of women, also men for that matter, in the corporate world, when they were starting out, they were really bullied, they were ostracized and all that. But because they brought brands into the top or the
Yeah.
market leadership level,
Yeah.
wala na. No one can actually question them. And
I like
everybody
that.
wants to be with a winner. You know, but I think what is important to say is no matter how successful you are, no matter how much you prove you're right or you're better than probably your
else.
bullies, just be very
Humble?
humble about it. You know, it's try not to rub it on their faces, and then all the more you'll get the respect.
I love how the direction we're taking. Actually, there's a question now from one of our online participants, Marga Deona. This is because of what Jan is saying right now. When do you draw the line between taking the high road and speaking up versus standing up for yourself? When do you draw the line between taking the high road and speaking up versus standing for yourself? Do you think there's a fine line there? I think so.
If there's a possibility of a misunderstanding, of you being taken, like, of your words being taken into like a different
context.
Yeah.
Like I think the best example here is Ginger's when someone would butt in your conversation. Because like I said, taking the higher road would be
Just
shutting that person up right
Yeah.
now to say, hey, I'm speaking here.
Yeah.
And that also is a bully fighting the other bully.
you know, if like for me, what made that decision for me was that if I am getting upset or if I feel bad that this person is doing this to me, then why would I do that to her?
There you go. That's a difference between someone who knows better versus someone who just, when you say fight back, sometimes maybe you are bullying back,
Yeah.
right? There can also be that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'd like to think of it as standing up for yourself. Bullying is really pushing back, pushing more than you should. what the question was, where do you draw the line, diba? In terms of how do you say that?
Taking the high
road or standing up for yourself. You will know. I think you will know when it is the right time.
Yeah.
You will know when they have pushed you so far already, especially when it is so detrimental already, when it is getting in the way of you performing what is expected of you.
Yeah.
So, and Camille is correct. You know, when it causes or it has a tendency already for miscommunication or misdirection, or you know, taking what you've done, what you've said out of context, I think you need to step up and stand up for yourself and put things in the right places and put that person in his right place.
I love that term. Definitely put them in their place.
Yeah, but people should always remember that you can always stand up for yourself in like a nicer way, in a proper, like how you did it. Right?
Agree, exactly.
There's still a nicer way of doing things.
You know, I always say, you know, kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's always such a thing as
and
killing
it's so
one.
effective.
Yes,
Yeah.
I so agree.
It really gets them each time.
Yes, yes.
No, I still have image of Ginger in high heels and red lipstick.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Not for anything. Again, I applaud you, ladies, for really, you know, it takes someone who just went through it.
Yeah.
Definitely, to not, like what Ginger said, throw back what was given to you, what was thrown at you.
Yeah.
Because you'll know better. I wonder though, have you now, because I already asked you, yes, you remember very well when and the instances you were bullied, but did you bully? Unintentionally maybe? Unintentionally maybe?
I catch myself.
Yeah.
There you go.
I catch myself. I do. I mean,
How? In which particular way?
let's say now that I have a studio, now that you know, like I'm actually the studio
the
director.
owner, yes,
you know
yeah.
that and teachers would apply or ask if they could teach there. I will have to say that I'm picky about my teachers, talaga. Like,
Picky is not bullying, though.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like my with. I would like to think that I have high standards when it comes to, because you know we're teaching, we are teaching, so I just want to make sure that the people I get to teach my students are really teaching in every way.
Yes.
Because there are just people who want to get in and out.
Yeah.
You know, they just want to say their dialogue and be done with it. You know, I'm looking for teachers because I was trained that way. So the tendency now, you know, going back to your question, is when there are new teachers who come in and they want to teach or asking if they can teach, I do nitpick.
Okay.
I do.
That's what women are.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
Yes.
That's our beauty. Because the beauty of women, knowing the details. It's all in the details.
Yes.
Never apologize for that.
I do nitpick. I do say what my opinion in a nice way, of course. I never do what was done to me. But when I say that I catch myself in my head, I'm already, you know, like thinking all of these thoughts.
Because you know better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How about Jan or Camille?
You know, like what Ginger said, you know, we do have that tendency, especially if you're
When you demand for better.
Yes.
When you demand and expect excellence and outstanding work, you tend to push.
But don't
really.
forget our definition of bullying earlier. Bullying
It's
is out to destroy.
damage,
To damage.
precisely.
You're out to draw out excellence.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's just unfortunate sometimes other people see it a different way.
Well, because there are
Yeah.
people who seem to think that strong women or strong person is a bully.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily so. Like I said, you know, these types of people may be just the ones who try to extract excellence from.
They want the best from you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because they want
exactly.
the best for themselves as well.
Yes.
True.
And being the best, it's not a one person's journey.
No.
It's actually shared.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes it takes a village.
Exactly.
To bring
And
out
if
the
only
best
we
in a
all
person.
accept that and play our parts, trust me, we won't be fighting. Right? We won't be fighting at all.
True.
Camille, did you ever, like one instance, you're just having such a bad day and you see a bad comment, stop it! Like, you know, or don't follow me anymore.
Oh, I did. I did reply to one person, and she was like saying that I always share this story. Baka she feels so special. But, like she tweeted that she said, buti na lang magaling ka magdala. di ka naman maganda. Parang sabi niya, magaling ka naman magdala. There, that one. And then I answered, I quoted it. So I know I could have not quoted it, but I just quoted it and I said, I just said that's why I'm a fashion blogger. I'm not a beauty queen. So
Well
that's
said.
what I really wanna.
Good one.
I want.
Good play of words there, sweetie.
Yeah, because I want people to know that fashion bloggers, yes, we do take photos of ourselves. Yes, you see our faces all the time and our selfies and stuff. But it's not because we think we're the prettiest or like we think of ourselves as this like high and mighty, whatever. But it's because we actually love what we're doing and we want to show you what we're doing. It's not. It's part of the job. It's part of our passion. It's part of our hobbies. So it's not because we're here because we want to be a celebrity or whatever.
Well,
So it's
some
just-
do.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like some do. But I love, thank you for your openness, for sharing with us very, very painful experiences, hearing all three of you. That was like not just a knife through my heart, but twisting it slowly. But again, we needed to hear it.
Yeah.
We all experienced it. And we shared, of course, with our wonderful viewers that we overcame it. And there are great ways to deal with bullies and fight back. But right now, before, of course, I say goodbye, or we all say goodbye, what would you say? I want you to look at the camera, take this opportunity. What would you say to your detractors, to your bullies right now, where you are, as who you are right now?
Okay, I will have to borrow what you said earlier because it's how I feel, Jan. I'm looking here, right?
Yes.
I would say thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me because also some of my bullies have become my friends now.
Ooh.
Some of them are the first ones to say that they're proud of where I am now, what I have become, what I have worked for, and that means so much to me. That means so much to me because I know that if it wasn't challenging on on the way to getting here, then it would not have been worth it. I know that where I am now, even if it's not much, I worked hard for it and I
it's
deserve
yours.
it. I deserve
And
to
it's
be
yours.
here. So thank you.
Thank you. What about Jan?
Also, I'd like to say thank you. Some of my earlier bullies were some of my bosses, but if not for them, I may have been hurt, but they inspired me. They pushed me to do better. And like I always say, that which does not kill you make you stronger. And yes, I think I'm standing up. I'm much stronger person, and so I thank you.
Thank you for that, Jan. Camille.
I'd like to say that I hope one day you'll also learn to accept yourself, your flaws.
Yes.
You'll learn to love yourself, and you'll be at peace. I hope that you'll be happy with your life, and you'll find that one thing that will make you really, how do you say it? That one thing that will make you satisfied with yourself and your life and your accomplishments.
Wow, it's been quite an interesting hour, really. And you know what? I think that at the source, really, of this all is misunderstanding. I don't even want to say insecurity, right? It's just always something's lost along the way. That's why when people are out to hurt other people, something's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a miscommunication of sorts, or just filling a void.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if we're gonna fill that void, let's make it with good things and good thoughts and good intentions, and keep bullying or kill it at its
kill
source.
it, yeah.
Thank you very, very much, ladies, for being so open, for your generosity, and better yet, for inspiring all of us that yes, we can overcome bullying and fight it back. And for all of you, thank you very, very much for joining us in our first Pantene Shine Strong Roundtable discussion. These three women didn't let the bullies and labels in their lives keep them from achieving their dreams, so why should it be any different for you? Please do continue to share your views and join us in the conversations by using the hashtag ShineStrong.